Hey everyone, I thought I'd do a quick video discussing some of the really positive changes that were announced within the year 5 anniversary stream. I'll also give very brief thoughts on the new content at the end of the video. Okay, so first off, let's discuss the new feature that is coming with the Resident Evil chapter, which is actually zombies that walk around the trial and can actually interact with and also damage the survivors, adding an additional threat to the trial aside that of the killer. These zombies are not controlled by Nemesis, and it seems sometimes they will also block you as the killer. It's not just an exclusively survivor thing. I like the idea of this, and I think if it's not too buggy, it has the potential to be a really cool feature. I've wanted more dynamic maps and environments for a while now, and it feels like a step in the right direction. I'm actually pretty reassured by Behaviour's recent choices for powers and such, as it feels like they're doing their best to push the boat out and be a little weird with things, which I think is exactly what the game needs. My only concern for the zombies is how buggy they might be, and also the fact that I don't see how useful or how much of an impact they'll have on the bigger maps or maps without tight areas or obstruction, like Shelter Woods for example. It works well for Hawkins, RPD, the game, and Midwich, but we'll have to see how it feels on the larger maps and more open maps too. I am really happy they've done this though as an environmental impact that comes with the killer Nemesis each trial. Making it almost like PvPvE is a really cool idea, and I honestly hope this comes out well for the live servers. Further, there was an announcement to bots coming to the tutorial section of the game, and the tutorial as a whole getting a bit of a revamp. This is pretty big, as bots could solve a lot of issues like early DCs and such, or at least make it a bit fairer if someone DCs and a team is left with 3 survivors. If bots become a real implemented thing for DBD, it could patch a bunch of issues, or at least make a lot more bearable than they are now. So really good stuff there too. Bots have also been on DBD Mobile for a while now, so I think it's a real possibility that they could be implemented onto the PC and console versions to fix issues like early DCs. Okay, so next, Behaviour announced that there was a new exclusive perk type for survivors coming to the game, as a similar reflection to Hex perks called Boon Perks, I guess, as the totem is called a Boon Totem. Anyway, these things glow blue instead of red and were stated to work in proximity when the survivor's nearby. I really like the sound of this, and I hope they make it into something cool. I'm not sure how it's going to work, as killers can't cleanse totems to shut down these perks, but maybe that's where the proximity thing comes in. It could also be more about being close to totems to get strong effects, but alternately leaving totems intact will give the killer benefits, so you kind of have to pick and choose whether you want to risk having a bad totem up or using the survivor or boon totems that are going to help you out throughout the match. Basically creating a reason for survivors to actually leave the totems rather than just instantly breaking them. Overall though, it's a cool idea and it seems to fit in well with the game overall. It's just an alteration to hexes, but for survivors. I like it, and I think there's a ton of potential here for really cool perks and different effects to happen. I'm very interested to see what happens with this. There were also new perk types for both Jill and Leon, which work as a stun crafting system that is based on generated progression. It's like a reward for doing gens. You jump in a locker and craft a stun or a flash mine. These look really cool, and I think definitely it's a nice small counter to killers, but pretty balanced generally, as they take 70% or so of a generator to even get to begin with, and there's also a time limit to them, and they have to be crafted within trials. So yeah, pretty cool stuff, and they seem balanced at first glance. We'll have to see it in live service though, really. We also got some announcements regarding keys and Moris. These two things have been extremely polarizing for a while, so it's good to see that they're being directly addressed. From what they said in the stream, it seems like Mori offerings are going to be retired and replaced with some kind of hook reward system, which is to just make Mori something you're able to do to the very last survivor remaining in the trial, like how the Yellow Cypress Moris work at the moment. I would like that personally, and I think it's way cooler that way as a finishing flourish rather than it being related to an offering. The key changes seemed unclear, but they did say it would tie in somehow to the Mori changes, so potentially there's going to be key or Mori rewards for each side based on how well they perform within the current trial they're in, basically rewarding you for playing well. Finally, there were announcements that there would be a better balance of new maps and reworks coming this year, which is a really positive thing, I think. I think the Realm Beyond updates that are focused on survivor, killer, and map reworks have been amazing, but I just think there comes a point when new content is necessary, so I'm glad we're getting the RPD for the Resident Evil chapter and more maps in the future also. Really positive, and I'm very happy. Maybe a Neon City map isn't too much of a dream anymore, that could actually happen. Quick thoughts on the chapter. It looks good. It seems pretty much spot on to what everyone predicted. I love that we're getting Leon and the RPD especially. Nemesis looks to have an interesting power, potentially needing some tweaks, but broadly pretty solid. I feel positive about the future of Dead by Daylight after this update, and I hope with this PTB, Behavior listens to the community thoroughly to make sure Nemesis and the Resident Evil chapter can release to its full potential. Alright, that's it. Thanks, and goodbye.